we are live. I know you guys could see us probably miming, but Heartland Offenders will do it live. Go to heartlandoffenders.com. Heartland Offenders on Facebook. Man, I'm super loud to myself today, so if I sound like I'm getting too quiet, please let me know. On Facebook and YouTube, I do need to post the past couple of videos on YouTube. I'll probably try to do that tonight. I hate doing it, but yeah, we'll do it. And then let's see. No, we're not on YouTube. And we're on, let's see here. I got Mike and Jacob on. Say hello, guys.
I'm doing my part. I'm sharing.
You're sharing? Yeah, I know. I was going to start doing that once we started talking.
I know. I was going to start sharing, then I noticed I'm like, oh, you're sharing his Heartland. Well, I didn't want to share his Heartland.
Yeah,
so...
So
yes, don't share his Heartland. Share his Mike Cosper, so people.
Yeah, I'm just so confused right now.
Oh, I know. And then, of course, when I go to share things that aren't me, and then it's Heartland, and then, oh, God, I hate that button.
Yes, I know.
You and your buttons.
There's too many buttons. I just need to stop with all the buttons. One of these days, I'll clean off my desk and take a picture so everybody
Hey,
can
did you
see.
get that phone line fixed?
Actually, I was working on it earlier. It might work. Here. Let's do this.
Mikey, already giving you crap
Which
about that
one
head
are
of
we
yours.
Here? Okay,
What?
so
I
yeah,
went back
there's
to
that.
basic.
Yeah, let's go ahead and add that phone number. Let's see if you guys can hear. Let's see how tragic this is going to be. If anybody wants to call in and talk, we'll see how this works out. I was working with Jane's phone earlier, seeing if it would work. It seemed to, but we'll see.
Awesome.
That's the quintessential multimedia system of hold my beer.
You don't
Just
even
saying.
know, man. Even with all the
It
cords,
might work.
Yeah,
it should
maybe.
work. The only thing I didn't go through was Skype, so we'll see how Skype goes.
That sounds like a very millennial thing, you know. It might work today.
It
Might not.
Hey, I'm lucky when I turn my computer on if my mic is actually set up for this damn program.
Yeah, I was gonna say it appears people can hear you, so you must be on.
Yeah. I dare you to do the beard.
No. No.
What's going on? I don't understand. What did I
dare you
miss?
to do the
No.
beard. Ooh. Oh, that'd be
No.
scary. Dude, you bald-headed and no beard?
Oh, God.
Woof.
I think my
That's
kids
gotta be
would
all
not
bad.
know who I was.
They might cry.
What's up, Mr. Michaels?
Have you ever seen any of those videos where the dad has a beard and then he goes and shaves it?
Oh,
and he
you
walks in,
saw it.
Yeah,
walks in like this, and then does this, and the kids are like, "Ah!"
right.
Yep.
Here, let's move this up.
Oh, man. Oh,
Nice.
All
But
right,
no,
then.
we've had a very busy week. First, happy belated 4th to everybody. I know it's been an eventful week so far this week. We'll start on the 4th and Trump's 4th of July extravaganza, isn't that what he called it?
Something to that effect, yeah. That's pretty, you know what? That's pretty solid turnout. Gotta admit.
For the amount of people who were like, nobody's going to show up to that. What the hell?
Mhm.
Yeah, I know, right? That I didn't see the event. I was busy that day.
I saw Wi-Fi and cellular service.
Yeah, I saw most of it on. I caught a little bit of it live, but then I basically went back later on that night and caught most of it. You know, on the rerun, more or less.
I picked it up off the memes that were going around where Democrats were complaining about the cost of it, but it was all taxpayer funded, so it was free. Just saying, I mean, that's how they play the game, right?
Hey, I mean, that's what they were like. I can't believe we paid all that money for that. And I'm like, but you said things were free, and if the government pays for things, it's free, right?
Well, you know what? Quite frankly, if my money was going to go to something, I'd probably prefer it was this anyways. So
That's true.
From what I saw of it, I didn't see a lot. So, but what I saw and the complaints that I heard, that it was too military showing, I thought that was kind of nice.
Oh, you mean so like?
I don't know. Have you ever watched the good old Tiananmen Square watch?
Well, no. Have you ever seen JFK's and
Oh yeah.
little dude when he did his little thing?
Well, that's why everybody was like, "Oh, it shouldn't have been so military, blah blah blah. It shouldn't have been based off on any of that." And I'm like, why not? I mean,
Yeah. Well, I've never, I mean, 4th of July and rockets, red glare, and all this good. I mean, it seemed kind of pretty appropriate.
God.
I mean, if it was just his inauguration, I would go, yeah, that's a little rough. But
let me ask you this: how many fireworks displays did everybody watch over the 4th? And how many times did you hear this is for the troops, or this is for the veterans, or every military branch's song played?
I can't hear you guys.
Really?
Go ahead, keep talking.
That's bad.
Okay, we'll keep talking. Jacob can't hear us. So, did you? How much of his speech?
Who, me?
Yeah.
I didn't catch
have
anything.
a conversation between you two. I can't hear you at all, but everybody on
Jeremy is
thing
deaf
can
to
still
us
hear
right
you,
now,
I
so
believe.
Jeremy's going to sit there looking very oddly trying to
He
figure
can't
out
hear
what he's
us
doing.
at all. So, but no.
I did not catch any of the speech.
Did you go back? Did you go back?
As I stated, I was out of cellular,
Wi-Fi,
Wi-Fi, everything all weekend.
You can Google that.
I just got back into the world of reality, and I spent the last.
Watch it. Come on, stop it.
What did you? No, I was working. That's what I tell everybody. I was working.
Oh, yeah, okay, so now there's an echo. I don't know. Keep working, Jeremy.
You guys are gonna have to keep going without me for a minute. I can't hear you still.
Wow, I'm hearing static now, but whatever. But no, go back. It's interesting if you go back and actually watch his speech. It was pretty cool because he really didn't do much politic-wise.
Really?
It was pretty solid. It was pretty much
in the speech, did he just stand up there and pump you up? Was it one of those?
Yeah, I mean, it was just rah America stuff.
I'm cool with it.
Yeah,
cool. If he could do that every day, I'd be even cooler with it.
Yeah, I mean, it was, it was definitely, it was weird because it was so him, but not so him. You know what I mean? He wasn't, he wasn't.
I'm just up there trying to praise his country, your country, and our country.
Yeah, I would say he was just. It was just.
What was it? The what the hell? State of the Union 2.0. Minus the political part.
Definitely closer to that. Except without even the little jabs. He didn't really take any jabs. It was pretty solid.
Well, I mean, the day is to celebrate our treasonous act of kicking England's ass.
Yes, and it was
not really to bitch about the Democrats trying to turn us into socialist.
Which was cool. I mean, it was very, which made it so much funnier when the Democrats started like bitching because it was like, dude, did you like not even listen to his speech?
No.
I mean, because they were all like, oh, he's just campaigning. Well, no, he was just celebrating America. Actually,
to me, that's campaigning. To me, I'm like, cool. I like that guy.
Yeah, I thought it was great. Whoa, what's up? What's on the screen now?
I'm okay now. I'm good.
Okay.
I can hear you guys.
Did you fix it?
He's back.
Yeah.
Jane was down there threatening to come up and show you how to do your job.
No, man, a phone call came through, and whatever happened, it overloaded my headphones. I had to unplug my headphones from the USB port and plug them back in. Like,
so we will not be taking phone calls.
So sorry, guys.
No
phone calls.
It wasn't even through the thing. It was just a regular 1-800 number calling me. I was like, you weirdos.
Wow. All right, then.
So loud.
It was the government calling.
Yeah, they were like, nah, we need to quiet down for a minute. Oh.
No, so
I
Jeremy,
don't
did
get
you-
the whole
did you
I
watch
don't
any
get
of
the
it,
whole
Jeremy?
crap.
Yeah.
Go
Did
ahead.
you listen to any of the speech, Jeremy, or no?
No, I didn't get to listen
No.
to a lot of it. I heard
Yeah, you
chunks of it
guys
through
got to go back.
videos.
You guys got to go back and listen. It was good.
As soon as we're done here, I'll go watch it.
Well, yeah, even if you look at the speech, it's pretty. It was pretty good. I enjoyed it. Plus the show and everything else. If you go back and watch everything, it was cool. It was good stuff. Monica from More last year,
Right.
she had a lot of good stuff. She was kind of, actually, it's funny. She was kind of where Jenny was in Forrest Gump.
Okay.
Oh wow.
Got it. Kind of right there at the reflecting pool. Okay. Okay.
Yeah, she's actually. If you go on her page and look, she's got a little arrow that says, I was here."
Did the husband come running through the water?
I was waiting for that. I thought that
I'm just saying. I mean,
somebody should have done it, but
Steve should have just ran right through the water and
actually,
armed of embrace.
honestly, I think she actually left Steve at home. Sadly.
Oh.
But no, it was good. I mean, it was cool stuff. I was, and I was pretty. It was pretty cool the fact that there was on the 4th itself during the celebration, there was very little trouble, which was kind of.
Is that what we're calling it now?
Yeah.
Is that what we're calling it now? We're not calling it treasonous acts or anarchy. We're just calling it trouble.
Well, no, that they came out later. When the crowd dwindled and their odds better, they came out. But when the entire lawn was full, they seemed to be pretty scarce.
Oh, of course, because they're not going to start any crap where they can just get annihilated in 2 seconds.
No, and that was the funny part. I mean, they did not harass anybody until basically the celebration was over and people were kind of taking a break and walking away before they came back for the fireworks. And then I started to see some videos, because of course, unlike in Ohio where it's orange barrel season, in our non-gun friendly cities, it's now Antifa season.
Right.
Is that our segue?
Apparently.
Okay.
Apparently.
All right then. Welcome to the season when you can come out of your mama's basement because it's not going to freeze you to death.
Right.
Yeah, I keep wondering, is it that or is it mom doesn't have air conditioning in the basement? Or, I mean, what is it?
No, I think it's the bitter times of cold and extreme wet and because they start dwindling off in the fall.
Oh, big time.
Yep.
And they don't really ramp back up until it's spring. It's past the point of spring into the point of it being summer.
Well, when it's colder out, it hurts a little bit more when you get slapped.
Truth.
Could be it. I don't know.
I just use it very simply to say it's the time to come out of your mama's basement because you're not going to freeze to death. I mean, it's just that.
Well, because did you see that? Who is it? Oh, they wound up. They threw a water bottle and something else at Ben Bergheim.
Okay.
They actually attacked him in D.C. So it was, oddly enough, it was funny. When he was walking around with a group of about 10 or 15 people, he didn't seem to have a problem. And then when he was down to just like him and one other guy, all of a sudden they had a problem with him.
Yeah. Big, easy target.
I'll tell you what, it was pretty funny. I tell you, Ben always struck me as kind of a somewhat docile kind of. I mean, he didn't seem like a fighter type, but I'll tell you what, when they started reaching for his camera and his hat,
yeah,
that boy got a little aggressive. It was pretty amusing because there was like 7 or 8 of them, and man, they tried everything to get his camera and his hat, and he was just smacking them back.
Yeah, my question is, were charges pressed?
Well, interestingly enough, if you watch his one video, it's kind of as he has walked away from where the barricades were.
Okay.
They had a pretty good, in the one section, they wound up actually catching there was, I can't remember if someone was doing either a free speech rally or if they were I can't remember which one was which, but they wound up actually blocking the whole street. I mean, they got the bikes out and the guys, and they blocked and kept the two sides separate. Mm-hmm. But what was happening is then, like, Ben and some of the other guys had walked around, to kind of just go because, it was separated. And they caught up with them away from where the cops were, is basically what happened.
This was in D.C., right?
Correct.
Yeah, was what was nice about the DC stuff is how well the DC cops actually showed how to handle the situation.
They did a very good job. I tell you what, compared to other times I've seen, they were like on their game pretty much all week in DC. They kept Antifa pretty separated, and actually the one during that the one you're talking about where they have them separated.
Yeah.
You see, if you watch I can't remember if it was Ben's video or the guy that was with him. But anyways, somebody throws a water bottle, and 6 cops jumped off their bike and arrested the kid. Yeah. I mean, like that.
Oh yeah, they weren't screwing around, throwing stuff. No, nothing. They weren't going down.
Right, and in all fairness, any of the Proud Boys and them, some of those guys got kind of out of line. They didn't arrest them, but they got in their faces and told them to turn around and go.
Right.
So they were keeping it pretty civil on both sides. I was
not allowing
impressed.
Either side. Right. And that whole rally was like a freedom of speech rally because of the fact they were rallying against Facebook and YouTube for deleting people's accounts, silencing their accounts, demonetizing their accounts, stuff like that. So that was a big thing.
Let me ask you guys a question. Have you ever heard the phrase "play stupid games, win stupid prizes"?
Yeah.
That's starting to happen. That's starting to happen a little in Portland.
Yeah.
Well, and I'm cool with it happening to both sides, because if you're not out here playing stupid games, you're not going to win the stupid prize.
Right.
Well, and then there was another video in D.C. There's another one where the cops weren't around, and they basically, I don't know, there's a group of maybe about 15, 20 of them that ran up on a group of guys basically my age. And quite frankly, I think there was maybe 5 or 6 guys my age, and they kicked the crap out of the 15, 20 of them.
Oh, yeah.
It was that video. Hilarious. So, and I hate to say it, but at some point, that's got to happen in Portland. I mean, I know it. Yeah. Because you know what?
Well, the thing about it needing to happen in Portland is the police department, the police officers need to sit down and go, we looked really bad compared to D.C. Do we sit back and listen to our dumbass mayor and sit on our hands who claims they have the freedom to do what they need to do as police officers? No, they don't, because they specifically tell people there, we're told to stand back. We're not allowed to go in and do anything. We are told to stay on the outside perimeter.
They sit there and block traffic. I mean, they block traffic in the middle of downtown Portland. Yep. And every video you see, you can see them. You can see the cops, half a block away, sitting in their cruisers, watching it happen. They don't even attempt.
Right.
And and it's gonna
But let me ask you this question.
Go ahead.
Ask you this question in regards to that. Do you think if the other side started acting out against Antifa or the left, or however you want to classify them, do you think the police would be more amped to deal with that situation than they are with the left or Antifa rioting and doing what they're doing against the other side?
I think honestly, they fear the Antifa side more than, like, say, Joey and his group. Joey and his group aren't going to attack the cops. Antifa will. And I think that's in their heads in Portland, personally.
So because they, as you're pointing out, because they fear what Antifa will do to them, they're choosing and or being told not to do anything against Antifa?
I believe so, yes.
Then I'm going to ask this question, and it's been asked every freaking video. At what point in time do you stand up against that shit?
If I lived in Portland, that would be now, because again, Portland is very similar. Actually, it's even closer in numbers than California. If you go look at any race in Oregon, the numbers aren't that. It's more like the presidential race. The numbers are, like the governor won by 200,000 votes. I mean, it wasn't like a landslide. So there are just as many, Republicans / conservatives as there are Democrats in Portland and Oregon, period. I'm surprised that hasn't come into more of a head. I'm surprised that the people of Oregon haven't, especially the guys in the back countries, of Oregon and Eugene and areas outside where it's Geauga County-ish, like my county. I'm surprised those boys haven't rolled up in pickup trucks and just started.
We've already stated numerous times in our videos. It all has to do with it being at your front door.
Well, it is at there,
and that's I live in the sticks with my pickup truck, my dog, my wife, and my guns.
True.
So far out of range from North Korea, they can't hit me with their nukes. It's that mindset that's allowing this shit to happen all over the country. Is the folks like us that prep, that stick to our guns, that hide, you can call it hide in the woods, but are just away from it all, that say, well, it doesn't affect me, so I don't give a shit.
Well, and that could be I mean, Portland, Portland's a small area compared to the rest. It's not like a Los Angeles type area where it's so spread out, where it's it's a huge amount of people.
Right.
So maybe it is. Maybe the people, in where you're at compared to being in Columbus, maybe they are. Maybe they're just like, well, yeah, it's happening in Columbus, not in my front yard, so screw it. But it's getting pretty out of hand when the police won't do anything. Who's going to?
Well, I mean, look at the last event. The police just stood back and watched as, quote, milkshakes were being thrown on people, and they sat back. And the police department was the one that made the warning to begin with about how it could contain different chemicals and products in it that could possibly burn your eyes, stuff like that.
Well, and at this point, it's not a fist fight anymore where you go, okay, rather than arresting everybody, hey, shake hands, go home. I mean, they're assault. I mean, this is assault now.
Oh yeah.
I mean, this is a punishable crime at this point. This isn't a fist fight.
I'll give you a little insight into some military stuff. You ready? When we were in Iraq for OIF 1, the opposition, we'll call them that, would get young adults or adolescent children, one of the two, to pick up a handful of rocks, and as we drove our convoys down the road, throw rocks at us. Up in the gun turrets, through the windows, whatever.
Right.
Our OE changed very quickly when people started getting injured from these rocks. Just saying.
And I don't know if
it's pretty sad that people in our own country are chucking cinder blocks and mortar mix cocktails and chemicals that can burn your eyes, and our own law enforcement's like, sorry.
Well, not only that, but where are all these, crusaders in the, I'm going to say it, in the gay community and everything else, when the gay reporter is he's a conservative reporter, but he is a gay, openly gay reporter, not a white guy, got, I mean, he got beat. And was there anybody in the press? Was there
how many of our African American friends, our black friends that we met at MAR and have worked with in the past, have been called every derogatory term you could think of by other African Americans.
Oh yeah,
because they think different.
Yeah. The other from the leftists.
Right. So do you really think the openly gay, non-white, conservative reporter is classified a gay conservative or a gay reporter? No. He's an Uncle Tom to them. He's the bad guy.
Hence the problem. Then I mean they're so like exactly what they say they're against it, and how our own government, and especially in places like Portland, now Berkeley has quietly kind of toned it down. I mean, but they basically just banned conservatives from being in town or speaking. It's how they've quieted Antifa, by giving in to them, basically. But how does our own government, when they're launching attacks like this, coordinated attacks, how this is not a domestic terrorist group? If we as a militia got together and got together with other militias, all got together, went to Portland and started throwing cement at them, would we be?
You wouldn't even have to throw cement. Walk in there, loaded for bear, not ready to, not aiming down the barrel, but loaded for bear. Walk in there, and they will have you in shackles in 5 minutes.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Period.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's the part. That's the part where I don't get. Where the people in Oregon, those groups are not like, dude, this is at our. I mean, it is at our front door. It's not happening here. We don't have. Maybe to some degree in Columbus, but not anywhere near what's happening in Portland. I mean, the Antifa group that's here is. I mean, it's a sad representation, if I have to say. I mean,
I want to say it's.
I mean.
I want to say there was 10 people there.
Right. And they weren't masked. They weren't throwing things. The only thing they were throwing were out of their mouths, which was just amusing.
Yeah.
Not dangerous by any means.
I mean, yeah.
But I mean,
my mama told me a long time ago, sticks and stones will break your bones, but words can't ever hurt you.
Dude, quite frankly, the more I sat there and listened to them when they were in Columbus, I was rolling, because if they have to know that they're ridiculous. I mean, they have to.
Oh yeah.
They have to go. They
would have to know that they're just stupid, but they don't. So they probably have no idea they're ridiculous.
Well, I mean, you got to realize that they don't really have any meaning to what they come to anything with. They always come just to disrupt. They don't want to talk in any kind of form of, let's sit down and have a civil conversation. And I don't even mean it at events. Look at some of what Jeremy Dieter's tried to do with them. He's tried to get them on his show, on his page, live, to say, hey, look, let's debate some of this stuff in a calm and decent manner. And they refuse to do it.
True.
And so what do they come with? They come with, butt jokes and, private part jokes and making people feel bad about past jobs that they made decisions about. And I mean, that they did just to disrupt the event. I mean,
right.
They had that one lady about ready to cry. I mean, she was like, I did have a past job that, I wasn't proud of. And they were there. They almost had her in tears up there when she was on stage.
Oh yeah. Well, they were very. Our little group that's down in Columbus is obviously, they've got Dieter's number. I mean, that's who they're there. All they got to do is see his name on the program somewhere,
right?
And they're just gonna cut. If he was there, saying that everything they're doing was right, they'd still be protesting against him.
Well, but I mean, they were up here during the Second Amendment rally in Kent State, because Evil Santa was in some of those videos.
Oh, right? We should do that. We should host an event for
We should have a
Antifa.
pro Antifa rally. See if
Be
they
like,
show
come
up.
on, guys, we're here for you. The whole thing.
That'd be great. Oh
The
man.
whole stinking show.
And they
Get
would
up here,
still
talk about it.
protest.
Just tell everybody what you think. Nobody's gonna say nothing. Nobody's gonna say nothing.
Well, if you were having an Antifa rally, that's what you'd say is nothing, because nothing they say makes any sense at all.
No.
So it ain't worth.
No. You know where an Antifa rally happens? The Laugh Factory. You know, the comedy club.
Starbucks.
That's all it is to me. Half of the crap they said was bad jokes.
Yeah.
Oh, it was amusing.
It was
but
just
It was
to try
bad.
to
And then they
disrupt
turned on some speaker and just started blaring "I'm a hoe." It's like, congratulations. I'll take you down to Parsons Avenue. You can hang out with the 4,000 other ones down there.
True.
I mean,
But but back to it though. I guess I and what Mike said. The fact that they're gaining so much ground in Portland, to me, is the only thing that I find. It's a little disturbing at how well organized and how I don't know if tactical is the way to put it, but that's a breeding ground right now, and they're learning from every event. If you watch as things go down there, they're learning.
Oh yeah.
And to me that's the dangerous part with letting Portland go the way it's going.
Now, you guys said something earlier about one of them about why some of because it's 50-50 there, why some of the more right don't stand up for themselves or stand up for their community. I wonder if it's because of the fact that they realize that no matter what they do to stand up for themselves, obviously the police department is not going to do anything against anybody that's more right or more left. Oof, wow.
But my thing is though, and I mean, and Jacob's right. We've said this 100 times. Win is win, and will Antifa keep doing what they're doing if the opposition shows in force and it starts getting real physical from both sides? Right. I mean, when's the schoolyard fight going to happen? I did it in high school.
but there's a zero tolerance policy. There's a zero tolerance policy now.
Yeah, well,
hey,
not for me.
Going with that statement, the only people affected by a zero tolerance policy or a gun-free freaking sign is the ones who obey the law to begin with. Antifa don't obey the law.
Right.
Well, but when is it? But when does do we? And my problem is, when do you wait? When you let a group like that do what they're doing, when you let them do what they're doing, what's the next step? Is the next step for them to move to the state next door where they can then start these protests, armed?
It's like a cancer.
Well, yeah.
If Portland continues getting away with it to the point where Antifa has the mass stronghold and they can do no wrong, and the conservative right-wing mindset is dead to the world over there, and the socialist utopias and the California climate crap all passes with flying colors and everything, then you're going to see another state start building up, and you'll see more people in Columbus. You'll see, Jeremy, Mike, which city here in Ohio's Antifa group's primary purpose in life is to post pictures on their Facebook page about their drug deals and the amount of money they got and how much
Lima.
Yeah, Lima.
Yeah, Lima Antifa. Once Portland is in the news for being the haven of Antifa and its stronghold location, then you might see Lima's people start getting a little more organized.
But
What you'll probably end up seeing is Portland becoming the headquarters for Antifa, and then
I think it
commanders and generals coming from that.
Them in DC. I mean, DC's the other probably largest, active membership besides Portland.
Well, and you got to look at their group membership too. They get the Lima Antifa group, for example. There are probably like 2 or 3 of them there, and they're only going to be there because they were probably a part of another group that was not okay with the whole anarchy / let's punch people in the face stuff, and then they're like, oh look, Antifa can do this, let's do this too. So I almost guarantee you that's all they're there for.
It will spread like a cancer. They will not move to another state, but the Antifa groups that are, for a fact, they're everywhere. Oh. They're all over this country. It's just they don't have a strong enough base to be able to do like Oregon.
Well, it came into Columbus, and it decimated the Columbus Anonymous group. I mean, Antifa came in, and the idea hit, and it split that group into so many chunks and pieces, and then the ones that were still left ended up into Antifa. So it destroyed that group down there.
My question, you just opened another can of worms, because I was thinking this, wasn't going to say it, but you opened it.
So your fault, Jeremy.
Always my fault.
Anonymous.
Yes.
Correct me if I'm wrong. Was it originally a organization put together to fight against cyberbullying and finding the guys who did bad and bringing light to what they did?
I really wish I could say yes, but no. Anonymous became a group where it was it started on 4chan, and the reason why is everybody's username was anonymous and a number.
Okay.
And so you could post stuff, be funny, be silly, have fun, whatever. And what really made it more of a protest activist type thing was when the Church of Science accidentally released that video of what's his face, the actor,
Tom Cruise.
And so they decided to mess with it and joked around about it, made memes about it, and were doing spoofs about it. And the Church of Science got really pissed and started calling people out on it, started trying to pull it down from the internet. They pushed it, and then it just went back and forth between the groups to where all of a sudden one day they had an event, November 15th, which is their Million Mask March Day now. And ever since then, they have it every November 15th. But yes, nowadays it's more of, it depends on what section of Anonymous you're in, or sec is what they'll call it. And some of them are out to just troll the shit out of everybody. Some of them are out there pedophile hunting. Others are out there to do good and show, that there's open, like there was a guy here in Akron. That's what he was doing, was trying to show Akron that they had open spots in their 911 servers, and they arrested him for it, blah, 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 because he didn't do it the most legal way.
Right. Well, and they're really, and I think, it's funny. A lot of people seem to think that they're anti-government, and they're really not.
That was my question. Are we fighting against a group that part of them's doing good, part of them's doing something that we actually could get behind, like you said, pedo hunting, finding criminal aspects or back doors into good things, to prevent bad people from using the back doors. And then the other part of them are the ones that we're calling Antifa, and that we're saying are leftists.
The problem with that is that there are some people that claim to be both Antifa and Anonymous. In the Anonymous groups, it's really hard because there's no leader, there's no structure involved. So there's nobody to say, yes, we're this, no, we're not this. That's why there's different
But you
sections
just
that don't work
said
with each other.
they have not sex, sections.
Yes.
So who created the sex?
Just somebody one day goes, you know what? I'm gonna do. What was it? I can't remember any of the section offhand. But
It's really sad. We keep saying sect.
yeah, sec.
Groups.
Offhand, yes, they're groups.
Subcategories.
So to the point of, it's just somebody makes one up. If somebody, like, there for the longest time there wasn't pedo hunting involved, and then somebody along the line was like, hey, we could do this, we could get these guys to admit that, you know, what they're doing by thinking they're talking to an underage kid and then turning it over to the local police and letting them do it. Different sections do, you know, a lot of, you know, pen testing when it comes to network security. It all depends, and they just somebody makes a group, and you either find out about it through networking or you don't, and that's how the whole thing works. There is no set group of people that made it this way, and just there's no leadership in
so
it.
it's kind of hard to tell who's who. Period.
So unless
correct.
we all
That's a
come
really
to
hard
unless we all come to the table and have a discussion, we're basically fighting anybody that wears clothes. And for anybody that's not been in the military, this is a reference of no uniformed enemy. Okay? The easiest way to say it is, if you're walking down the street and you consider yourself a right-thinking, non-Antifa, socialism bad, leftist bad kind of person, every single person you look at could be, quote-unquote, your enemy.
Correct.
There's no way to win a war versus that.
Well, but here's
the thing, though. Like Palmer just said, but like NSA and FBI have been unable to shut down Anonymous for the same reason of you can't determine who's what, who's who, who's where if you do it correctly. So you don't go and you don't be an anonymous, or you don't, and anybody can become an anonymous member. But you don't go in with your real name, your real crap, because if you do and you're doing crazy crap, of course the cops are going to stomp you. But the point is, there's 5 more anonymous members waiting to step up. And that's where, you know, they arrested the guy here in Akron. There were more members that were just waiting to step up and take over anything he was doing.
Right. Yeah,
But to go back to what we're talking about with Antifa, what we just talked about, for everybody catching up or catching in right now, is that Anonymous, there's a subcategory of Anonymous that you could look at and see the correlation that they came to Antifa from that.
Correct.
Well, did Antifa really come from Anonymous?
No, they did not.
Not really. Some did. I'm not saying everybody that was Anonymous became Antifa.
The reason,
was never really that was never really Anonymous. Anonymous is, you know, their intention never really was to be
is every person
that kind of a group. I mean, as far as I remember,
is every person that's classified a militia member really a gun-toting, I'm going to shoot everybody, I'm the military kind of person?
Correct. But there was a lot of guys and there was a lot of tear in Anonymous for a while about, do we become violent? Do we become, you know, like what Antifa was? And there was a big tear in there. There's some guys that were like, we want anarchy, we want to do this. And there were other, you know, it just, again, it's its own monster. But a lot of the people, they were able to take, when they spread the Antifa movement, which they did, they brought a guy in from who knows where. I have suspicions, but he
allegedly,
evil Santa, allegedly, he brought that whole Antifa thought into Columbus, and that there were, you know, quite a few members of Columbus Anonymous, and it attracted a lot of them because they were already wearing the black bloc stuff. They were already covering their faces with a black mask, but they were wearing the Anonymous mask. They were wanting to do, you know, damaging stuff. They were wanting to do other stuff that a lot of other people were like, no, we're not that kind of protesting group. We're not that kind of activist. and it attracted them a lot. Some went Antifa route. Some went, I don't want anything to do with this, and either went to a different group or just left and did stuff on their own.
Yeah, and that's a good question, Palmer. I'm not sure who came first, the Antifa in Europe or the Antifa here. I thought the Antifa in Europe were, I mean, that's back like 50s and 60s, no?
Correct, that was.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
And then
So they really just kind of took on the mantra of, but the odd thing about, if I remember right, some of the original Antifa in Europe were actually fighting fascism, unlike the Antifa here.
well, they're just calling it whatever they don't like fascism, so that way it looks good. Instead of being like,
Right.
well, we're just fighting you because we don't like you or we don't like what you say, they're like, well, we're going to call you something that everybody used to hate, or like communist or fascist or whatever. So that way it kind of looks like we're doing something good, but really they're just being dumb because they're just calling everything
they're
they don't
really,
like.
yeah. Well, Palmer said it earlier. I mean, they really are. They're acting like the Nazi youth.
Well, right.
I mean,
Brown shirt.
that's yeah. I mean, that's what they're trying to do.
Well, they're trying to keep people to be scared, to keep rallies and
But
stuff.
the fucking problem is they're not wearing brown shirts.
Well,
Well,
but,
no. The problem is I'm not scared.
right.
Well,
I mean, what are you gonna do? You're gonna mace me. You're gonna throw some stuff. Oh, look, you hit some old guy in the head or some young kid in the head with a freaking pipe or a pry bar or whatever the heck the dude had. I think it was
Oh yeah, with a crowbar.
the crowbar. Yeah.
Yep.
I mean, that guy. I hope they catch that guy. If they haven't caught him, they need to catch that guy because that's ridiculous. That can f up somebody's life forever.
Right.
So what do you think it's going to take for Portland or Columbus or any city or state to actually start combating the fascist, anti-fascists?
The government to grow a set.
Well,
Correct.
okay, I agree to that. Or do you think it's going to take an actual death? Do you think if one of those cinder block,
Yeah.
if you think one of those concrete mix cups killed somebody, do you think they'd actually start fighting it?
Depends on where it happened at. Columbus is another one of those cities, they don't deal with the bullshit. They're like DC, where they've got the bike cops out to block off everything and deal with stuff.
It doesn't have to be that they're dealing with the bullshit. What I mean is Portland. We'll say Portland. We'll say Columbus. Somebody just happens. We stood there at that event with Antifa on the other side of that barricade. There were 4 cops on each side.
Mm-hmm.
Nowhere near them.
Yep.
Okay?
I think they're more afraid for Antifa than us.
I would probably agree. But what would it if they had a set? What would be the outcome if they would have put together a little concoction of concrete, shucked it at somebody's head in that crowd, and that person took it to the back of the head, smacked their head on the concrete coming down, and was dead?
Well, I'll tell you now.
What do you think is going to happen?
Well, for one, the Columbus PD's on them in a few seconds. They've got those 4 guys on each side, but they always, when there's an event like that, have people staged around the other side of
and the bike cops were all across the street.
I'm not disagreeing.
Right
I'm not disagreeing.
So they
I don't know if it happened. Yeah, here I don't know if it makes. I don't know how much difference it makes here. Other than my guess is here they file it away as a isolated incident.
Yeah.
In Portland, I don't know. I think in Portland, honestly, I don't think,
charges.
Well, I know. I think when they completely turn on once they're and I think they're getting close to this, when they completely turn on the police completely, where they attack the police department, that might be it might have to go that far before anything happens in Portland. Or the good old boys decide the next time there's a rally and they know that there's going to be 100 Antifa, they bring 300 good old boys and they turn it into a riot in downtown Portland.
Well, right. And that's where, I mean, you've seen last year the Antifa groups got out of hand because they were throwing bottles with M80s in them.
Right.
So it would go off and throw glass shrapnel all over everybody in the crowd.
Yeah.
I mean,
but it was indiscriminately at that point. It was a melee, and everybody was
still classified an IED.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Oh, for sure.
In a war, you get put to death for carrying an IED or the parts and pieces to make an IED. Mm-hmm. I'm just saying.
Well, and see, I think, and that's what's happening in in Portland. That's why the police have completely they stay out of it. They don't even. I mean, if you see the one, I think it was probably almost a year ago now. Francis Marion was there, and Joey Gibson was there. Patriot, they were all there, and there was one cop. And that's when the bottles started going and things started blowing up. And that one cop, they've got video of him. Walked back to his car and left. I mean, he left the riot. Just got in his car and left. I mean, done.
Yeah.
And they haven't done anything since to stop it. And, at some point, it's going to get into a kind of melee where the police are going to have to get involved. And when it's 3 groups in that giant melee and people get hurt and somebody dies, that might be it. Although it's all going to depend on where the spin comes from.
Right. Like Jane said, it'll have to be a black lesbian who got hit and killed for it to finally become an issue.
Well, only if she's not wearing Make America Great hat, because then it's going to be her fault.
Yeah.
Right.
So, and that's in Portland. In Portland, I think, again, because of now when when it happened, the results in Berkeley were obvious. I mean, everybody except for the people who attacked Antifa, that all got spun and thrown onto them. Mm-hmm. It wasn't the fact that those people came in and were blocking and throwing shit at people and attacking them. It was still because the conservatives tried to come talk at a liberal college. So it was their fault for coming there. We knew that was going to spin that way in California. It's just how it is. In Portland, a melee like that, you've got a 50-50 chance of it getting spun the way it happened. But I don't know. I don't know what it's going to take. It's gonna take something probably bad, because look at Joey's guys.
Heard around the world.
Joey's guys have licenses to carry. Now they choose to not come armed into these events.
But I'm almost positive that shot heard around the world 2.0. It's going to come at the hands of a bottle or a cup of mortar or a pipe,
I think,
or somebody's going to die. Somebody's going to die, and the wrong group of conservative thinking people are going to take that as a shot heard around the world, and it's going to blow up.
Yeah, and I can see some of these groups, especially in DC or in Portland. I could see one of them arming a dude, putting him in full battle rattle, throwing on a Make America Great hat, and going and purposely shooting someone from Antifa. Even being that person being Antifa themselves to start that war.
Oh, you just gave him an idea. They already
that
did that,
idea's
didn't
already
they?
passed through somebody already. That's
for
not
sure.
new.
They already did
I
that, didn't
guarantee
they?
you.
Well,
Didn't they? The dude trying to figure out how to change a magazine out in an AR, wasn't it in Texas? Full body armor, Kevlar.
Oh,
First time shooting an AR because he's like fumbling with the mag.
yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah,
Probably, yeah. I mean that, but and see, I think that's, and here's, I think this is the problem with, we're law abiding. We hate some of the laws. There's no doubt. We hate the way that they're destroying the Constitution, but because we have some respect, and maybe not a lot at times, but some respect for law enforcement and the government to some degree, I don't think our side has the answer. Let's be honest. There is a lot of us around the country, a lot of us that own guns.
What is it? 7.9 trillion rounds.
Oh, it's a ridiculous amount. If we were the problem, you would know. And I think that's we understand the ramifications of firing that first shot, but I don't think Antifa and the people that follow that crap do. And I think that's the only thing that has kept it from happening from our side, is because we understand the ramifications. The place will never be the same. Once somebody does that, it's never going to be the same.
Right.
And we get that. But my fear is that they really don't, because they're getting more and more brazen. And when that happens, it's going to get ugly, and it's going to get ugly quick.
Right.
But I'm going to ask the same question. I'm going to ask this same question to every single person watching this video now or in the future. And if you haven't done so yet, share this out to your friends, because this is a vital, actual question coming from me. When will you stand up? Does it have to be at your front door? Does it have to be right there in your front yard? Or can it be to any single person in your country? Mm-hmm. Because if you sit back right now and say, well, if somebody dies in Portland, by God, I'm going to go fight. Great. California's drawing in so many freaking vagrants from foreign countries that they have overwhelmed that state.
Oh, dude, it's their own
ain't done
people.
Shit.
Their own people. Their own people don't have jobs, so they're living on the streets in LA.
You ain't done shit.
No, the people in California haven't.
You've got an opioid crisis across the country. The state of Ohio, where we're from, it's the second best state for getting high and dying. And what do? We turn around and hand out Narcan like it's fucking candy.
Hey,
did you stand up against it?
Don't worry, we'll hang on to it for you.
Yeah.
Did you stand against it? No. The federal government screams take their guns. Why? Because they can't control people that have guns by force.
Well, yeah, obviously.
As soon as they take your guns, because you didn't stand up against it, bet my bottom dollar they're going to be telling you to do anything and everything they want. And if you don't do it, they'll stick you in some camp, they'll re-educate you, or they'll kill you because you didn't want to learn. Well, happens all over the world, all the freaking time.
I'd say there's probably about 30 or 40 of this group that'll never make it to the camp.
I'm going to have to agree with that. But the question is, when will you stand up? Will it only be when somebody dies?
I've said it. I've said it, on me personally, when, and maybe it's just one of the straws, but if a place like New York or a place like Oregon, or if the people there finally decide, this, with Antifa in Portland, let's use that example. If the people there decide, enough is enough, the government isn't going to take care of this, so we the people do, and they decide, they make that call, I'd go.
I'll pack my shit. I'll be with you.
I'll go. I mean, that's if it's gonna, at some point we the people will have to make a stand, and I don't know. I think a lot of us are closer than we've ever been in our entire lives. I mean, I haven't been here a long time, but I've been here a lot longer than some. And I mean, I'm a lot more ready than I've ever been.
Well, and I'm also a lot more aware of where my line is, and I'm a lot closer to my line than I've been since I've decided my line. Even before that, it's like we're pushed, and we're getting closer and closer to our line of when and where do we need to stop and stand
I wake up every morning and just try to look and see if I need to not go to work today because I've got other things that are a little more important to deal with.
Right.
Yeah, I mean it's
it's a joke. It's a joke for a lot of people that, why is there less Republicans or less conservatives at the rally than there is Antifa? Because we have jobs. It's a joke, but it really is kind of true, guys.
Right.
I mean, agree or disagree.
Well, it's because it's not only just the fact that we have jobs; it's the fact that we don't act like that. That's not what we do. That's not how we feel is the way to we still, some of us, not all of us, speaking for myself, some of us still have some faith that the system can work, mm-hmm. that part of the, what you have behind you, and the rest of the Constitution, we believe it can still work. And, we're not ready to just, the easy, quote unquote, it would be easy to load up our firearms and take 10 minutes to eliminate them all marching down the street. Let's be honest. Wouldn't take much. No. There's a lot of us.
It is probably very accurate that a civil war will last about a day.
Yeah, I mean that we could get into it with a group like that and it'd be over quickly. It would be ugly. It would be it'd be horrifying, but it'd be over in a hurry with a small group like that. But not only, like I said, again, not only do we have jobs, but it's not how we think the problem should be fixed. We believe there are still good people out there, and there are people still trying to do it the right way. And until we get to that very last straw, I mean, that bale of hay is a lot smaller than it used to be. Right. But as long as there's still some of that hay, we're still willing to make it work. But, at some point, what we hold on to, it may be gone, and that may be the answer. I just don't think I'm not there yet. But yeah, I mean, I'm holding on to a lot less than I used to.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, yeah.
Wow, sorry. We get deep for a minute there.
Hey, I'm just gonna say it this way. If you guys want to keep going, we'll keep going. We are a couple minutes past 9. If we want to keep going, we'll keep going.
I got a few minutes.
I got a few more minutes.
But God's honest truth, guys. 3 of us, we've all spent a lot of time in our lives figuring out our definition of the right and the wrong. And I think in the 100 and some plus videos we've done, I think you've kind of got to know our mindsets pretty well. And speaking for myself and the 2 that's over there.
Right direction.
I know. They're over there, the 2 that are over there. We're just a step or a couple of steps away from that line. Like I said, I wake up every morning and check and see, what do I really need to be doing today? Because is fixing somebody's personal problem really that big? Internet problem. We'll just go with what it is. Is fixing somebody's internet problem really more important than your rights, my rights, our rights? I mean,
I've had the discussion. I've had the discussion. I've had the discussion with I mean, if I was closer to a point where I didn't have to go to work every day, I would probably spend every waking hour in DC up people's ass.
Mm-hmm. I don't even know if it's just DC.
Well, that's where I'd start until they threw me out.
I mean, because the downside is, just like the Oregon stuff, am I correct? The Oregon stuff with the state governing body and the way they vote and all that. Just like with that, the unfortunate side is you, me, and 500,000 people could stroll into D.C. right now. They wouldn't give a shit because you're not their voting, you're not their constituency. They don't care. California's so fucked in the head that they'll vote that dumb bitch right back in.
Well, but here's an interesting thought though. And obviously, I mean, most of you have probably heard or haven't heard.
Shit, here comes the car.
That more's been canceled. Okay, yeah. But imagine if more had gone on, and imagine if the amount of people that showed up on July 4th showed up at more.
Oof,
Tell me they could ignore us. Tell me they could ignore us.
Personal opinion? Yes.
No, I don't.
Personal opinion? Yes.
No, and here's why no. Here's why I'll tell you no. Because we, again, going back, keep going back to old videos, but when they were when they screwed up the laws here in Ohio, the gun laws, we got on them, right? And it was a whole hell of a lot less than showed up in D.C. this last weekend. So, no, I
but we were.
You march on. And listen, look at them. Look at all.
Are we their constituency?
Look at the Democratic, and the leftist groups that march all the time into D.C. and have those kind of numbers. Who are our government listening to? Those people. The policies are based on those people that keep coming to them. If we show up at an event like More or a similar event in the numbers that showed up on July 4th, they're going to take notice. They've got no choice. If that many people show up pissed off, somebody's going to listen. Maybe it won't be enough of them, but somebody's going to listen.
I will concede to the agree to disagree. The reason I say agree to disagree is we, the people of Ohio, rallied against a bad bill for Ohio to our representatives in Ohio, who we vote for at election time.
But what if we all did that there's another list bump. I'm missing something going on here.
Yeah, you're good. I had to say something. I didn't want to interrupt. Sorry.
That's all right. But what if the next time, Kamala Harris, her crazy ass with, in 100 days, she's going to tell everybody to turn in their guns.
Yeah, right.
Well, what?
That'll go over as well as Colorado's thing did with the freaking high-capacity magazines.
And
hey, you tell me whatever you want.
If there's as many of us that did what we did in Ohio in every state. Now, if all those groups are bombarding D.C. with voicemails and text messages and emails, that bill's not going to happen.
Right.
It ain't going to happen. But the problem is we don't have groups like Ohio Gun Owners and everywhere yet that are the rally point. Unfortunately, our side at times is lazy and sitting back and waiting for, I'm going to wait till Bob down the street gets mad and then I'm going to back him up. We wait. We do. It's just human nature. But when you get a group like, you got to give the guys at Ohio Guns and the other three states they're in. There are 3 more states, right?
Yeah.
3 more states, 4 total that I've seen and doing their videos.
Those guys are making a difference in the states they're in because they're being heard and we're backing them up. They are Bob down the street, and when they get loud, we get loud right behind them.
Yep.
And that's what it's going to take every state doing that. And maybe the 4 that are here, maybe that's the catalyst. People like, there's other people out there trying to do it.
Mike, you can correct me if I'm wrong in making this statement, but we all have a part to play to keep all of our rights together.
Yeah.
Ohio gun owners is doing their part to keep that right there as untainted as possible. Or for those who are very correct in their statement, as uninfringed as possible.
If possible.
Well, here's the thing. Where's those other people who don't really care about this one, but by God, that first one's really important? Or that fourth one, or that fifth one, or the third one, or the 15th one. Pick something. Pick something to champion. Pick something to champion. And then work on that. And as long as you're not picking the same damn thing as Bob down the street, now we have groups that are dealing with more than just this or that or this. Not everybody needs to be a gun-toting, red-blooded army guy. Mm-hmm. You got to have the guys that handle the paperwork, quote unquote. I mean, am I wrong in that statement?
No, that's why we have politicians that are actually doing good things.
Yeah, and there's some, and I think there's some of us that, I mean, our group, you know, our group has probably a little bit of, you know, this and that too. But I think we try and push the whole Constitution, not just the second. And you need those guys too. I mean, you need that, you know, the committee for each one, I guess you could say. But we should all be fighting for the Constitution, period. I mean, I don't care who you vote for. If the, you know, I don't care what letter they are or whatever, or if they aren't following the Constitution, why are you letting them represent you? And if you don't believe in the Constitution, why the hell are you here?
Second question, and this goes to all my veterans. Who remembers their oath? Because I'm pretty sure within the first couple of sentences, it states, I will protect the Constitution against all enemies, foreign and domestic. That means the asshats in Congress going, burn the son of a bitch, let's start over, socialism's great.
Except here's the problem. Those guys take the same oath.
I know. Mm-hmm. That would be called treason.
And I think that's, and
the reason the military takes that oath is to combat that shit.
Well, and I think as every one of us, you know, listening here and listening later, you know, we kind of push the fact that we aren't a militia. And I think the reason, you know, for me personally, we don't push it in our group. Because if you are an American citizen and you are over the age of 18 and you are able-bodied, you are part of the militia. You're part of the militia. Mm-hmm. You need to hold these representatives to their oath. And I guess again this goes to where, you know, where's that line where we start marching into DC as we the people and accusing these people of treason that are not upholding the Constitution. And I think if you have an event like they did on July 4th, if that many of us show up in DC and say we're not going to take your treasonous crap anymore, somebody's going to listen.
Share this video out. Let's make this happen.
Mm-hmm.
Let's make it happen.
I'm good. You give me the weekend. I'm ready.
It ain't gonna be a weekend. Make it a Monday.
Works for me.
I've got 80 hours to still spend before Christmas.
I will. Hey, for 2 million of us to march onto DC and tell them we're not going to take their treasonous crap anymore. You just name the time. I'm on. I'm there.
Do it.
Just name it. Name the day.
Hey, the three of us right here control our Facebook page. There's 300 and some odd people that look at it. Let's post an event. Let's make it happen.
Yeah, and you know, and this is the sad thing about more that I think people don't get, and people got hung up on all the, oh, you know, where's the money, blah blah blah. You know, no, it's the idea behind it. I mean, how stupid are you people? Right. It's the idea of getting together as we the people, and again, I don't give a crap who you voted for. I don't care. The fact of the matter is they're destroying our Constitution, and if we the people don't show up in D.C. on their front lawn in masses, in the millions, and tell them enough is enough, if you aren't going to honor that oath, we are going to either vote you out or drag your ass out.
Right.
One of the two.
Well, and that's one of the things that really upset me, and I stopped watching the comments when he announced. A lot of people, if you're on here, you may not have heard or have kind of heard him kind of suggest it. More got canceled today. Mother of All rallies will not be happening September 28th. And he is refunding every dime that was donated. And he's showing that he's refunding every dime. But yet people are still trying to make it about, well, where'd the money go? What are you doing? Blah, 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 blah. And they're trying to make it about what it shouldn't have been about. I mean, it should have been...
Yeah, it's not about the, you know, you morons. It's not about the event. It's about coming together as Americans, as we the people, and showing up in D.C. and telling them enough of their crap. Enough. We've had it. We're sick of your shit, and we're not going to take it anymore. That's what it's about. It's not about, you know, Bob or Joe or Tim or whoever the F else was going to speak. It wasn't about them. It was about us showing up. It was always about us showing up.
Let's do this.
And you know what? Why aren't we? Why aren't we all going?
Let's do this.
Well, right. I mean, I don't know. It just I didn't like how political it got. I really didn't.
There's currently 12 people watching our live stream. It went up to 14 at one point. Okay? We don't have the clout that Tommy Gunn had, that Outlaw Morgan's got, that Moe's got, that Will Johnson's got, that what's her name, Candace Owens got. We don't have the clout. We don't have the clout. We don't have 500, 600, 1,000 people watching our live stream.
Fair enough.
What we do have is a Facebook page, Heartland Defenders on Facebook,
and some stupid passionate people about this.
And extremely passionate people. Mm-hmm. And if you can make a promise to me that you will share it, that you will fight to get it out to as many people as you possibly can.
And you will show up.
I will sit down right now, right after this video goes off, and I will make an event on our Heartland Defenders page on Facebook. And you can go there right now and say, going, maybe, not going. I don't care what you say. But if you say you're going, you make sure you take the day off. You make sure you show up. I'm not asking you to stand there for 10 hours, 16 hours, 20 hours, standing at a reflecting pool. Just show up, shake some hands, say hello, meet some people from across the country, and then we just walk into the front of Congress. We just step on the stairs of Congress. They'll know we're there.
Yeah. And agree. And you know what? It does. It's got to be during the week when they're there. Oh, of course, we'll have to find the 1 week a year they freaking show up to work.
Then we decide to take a trip around the country. At every freaking front step.
No, DC. DC is why it's deep. I mean, if you've never been to DC and walked around, it's not about the asshats in Congress. That is us. DC is us. I mean, walk around DC, walk around Arlington, look around and see what the people before us have done for this country, and feel like an ass because you're not. We need to. I mean, Jacob has said, when are we going to have enough? When is enough?
Ain't nobody asking you to pull a trigger and take another human life.
Nope.
All we're asking is for you to share an event, a video, and make sure that the people around you are aware that there's bad stuff going on.
Well, and if you don't see it, yeah, how can you not? I mean, how can you sit and watch, Facebook or the TV or anything and realize that the place is not what it used to be.
Perspective.
It's not.
No.
Perspective.
I mean, it's not. I mean, we have to show up. We have to go to DC and and again, it's got to be a crowd like the 4th. It's got to be. We have to be there and loud enough to drown out anybody who's not with us. And if you were born in this country or you became a citizen of this country, you should be there and you should be with us. I don't give a crap, again, who you voted for. You should be there and tell them that you want them to represent us, we the people, because we have the damn power.
I'm going to ask this question, and I understand there's only the common faces watching our video right now. I'm not seeing Ryan Moore. I'm not seeing Jeremy Dieter on here tonight. But for our common folks that are watching right now, and for anybody that watches in the future, hit the like button on this video if you really want us, the Heartland, to make an event, set a date to have 1 million people show up to Washington, D.C.
Somebody's got to start it. Why not us?
For you guys watching this video right now, start spamming that like button down there or that heart button, whichever one you want to do. Start spamming that button so I can see the little thumbs and the little hearts flutter through here if you want us to make this event and get this thing moving.
And you should want it. You should make an event and you should have it and you should share it out. We should all want this. And this isn't and this isn't about Heartland. This isn't about me. It's about all of you. We should all want to do this for us because we the people. And what are we waiting for? What are we waiting for?
Unfortunately, a lot of people are looking around waiting for somebody else to do it. That's the problem.
Well, we're doing it. We're doing it.
Yeah.
We're doing it. And if you're smart, you'll get behind what we're doing.
Right.
Because if you don't, you are the problem.
And it's not going to be
yeah.
It's not going to be about speeches. It's not going to be about somebody getting to pump up their Facebook page. It ain't going to be about nothing but showing up and letting them know that we're here. We're here.
I'm going to say
bring
right
a speaker.
Now, Mikey,
I'll bring a speaker. Everybody that's in this video right now seen my speaker. It rolls on little wheels. I'll bring a speaker if you want music. Beyond that point, we're not going to have a stage. We're not. It's not going to be. It's not going to be like Mar.
Nobody's collecting money. Nobody's
no money.
Doing nothing.
The only money you need is enough to get there, stay there if you want to, and get home.
Well, Mikey Rudd had a very good suggestion about having it during the State of the Union, so everybody has to be there. I mean, they're on high alert already. Why the fuck not, right?
Yeah, why don't we just show up in mass? I mean, it's not like the FBI, the CIA, the NSA, and every other damn alphabet soup agency not surrounding the building waiting for something to happen. But hey.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, no. And here's the only reason why I don't want it to be there, because that crowd's going to be there. I want it to be, I don't want, we're not going to get any stupid permits. We're not going to get stupid porta potties. We're just going to, and we don't need to. You know why? Because we own that damn place. Yeah. We own it, and we're going to show up. I don't give a crap if we start on, quite frankly, we should probably start in Arlington, walk across that damn bridge into DC, and let them know that we're here.
Do you know why I agree with you starting in Arlington? How many people's visited Arlington National Cemetery?
I have. Several times.
How do you feel standing in that hollow ground?
Like I'm not doing enough.
So you start there, and then you start marching. And you march across that bridge, and then you stand there with that passion in your chest, knowing that this is your country and they're not doing it for you. And then you actually start saying what your problem is. Because just sending them a letter, what are they going to do with it? Circle filing cabinet. Yep. Done. Not my problem. Because guess what? That guy lives in Ohio. I'm from California. I don't care. But when you've got 1 million people standing on those steps in front saying, we're not going to take your crap anymore, you've got two options. Fix it or get out.
Yeah,
and if you don't
like I said,
fix it.
And we go, and if there's that many of us, we don't need any stupid permits to walk into DC. We don't need a permit.
You need a permit to stand on the lawn.
Yeah,
That's what you need a permit for.
Walk, and I don't give a crap if we block traffic. I don't. You know what? It's time we got off our asses and walked our asses into DC and told them enough. It's time.
Agreed.
I say we give it a try.
And I'm not saying only people in Ohio.
No,
share this to your
everywhere.
friends in Oregon, California, Colorado, every 50 state, Alaska, Hawaii. I don't care, because there's one of us somewhere in all the states. The problem with it is for us here on this video, we've found each other and have networked together to where we're a little bit. I mean, trust me. Look at the count of views. A little bit stronger than that one guy in the middle of nowhere in Arkansas or Oregon or Michigan who thinks this way. Don't be scared.
Yeah. Well,
don't fear the idea of making yourself heard, because you're not there to walk around with full battle rattle. You're there to walk in with a T-shirt, a pair of pants or a pair of shorts, boots and shoes, just to say that I am an American citizen. You are trying to destroy my country. You are destroying what I believe in, and I'm not going to take it anymore. Fix it or get out. And if you refuse either of those, then I will go to the next building down the street and let him know that he's either going to fix it or he's out.
Mm-hmm. Agreed.
I think that's the best point to end on, gentlemen.
Yes.
Works for me.
Everybody watching this show, make sure you share this out to everybody you know. Tag them in the comments so they go back and watch it. Share it. Tag as many friends. Matter of fact, I'm going to challenge everybody. Every single person watching this video, share this video. Tag at least 5 of your friends in this video. I don't care if they're left, right, downright, center, crazy off the loon. Share it to 5 of them and tell them to share it to 5 people. And I'm telling you right now, we'll see a lot of people deciding to say, hey, you guys do it. I'll show up.
Right. Yes.
Let's make this happen, guys.
So let's do it.
On that, like he said, share, like, subscribe. Well, on YouTube, don't. When I get the videos up, subscribe.
We'll get to it.
We'll get you. It definitely, if more was a good example of last year, at least getting together and everything. But let's get this together. Let's try this. Let's see. We don't need permits. We don't need, like you guys said, stages. We just need for them to hear us is what we need. Don't sit back and just think, well, I'm only one voice. What the heck? I'm not going to be able to do anything, because that's not how this works. You're one voice. You add to the other voices. We all work together, and that's how it ends up. It ends up becoming a larger voice. The more
over 90 million of us voted in the last election. Be there.
Over 90.
Be there.
Wow.
Oh, be there.
Hey,
we'll shut down the city if that's what it takes.
Friendly advice. If you feel that you can't make it and you feel that it's impossible, please feel free to message any one of us on this video on the Facebook page for the Heartland Defenders and we will get back with you, and we will help you as much as we possibly can to get you there.
We'll carpool, whatever it takes.
I'll tell you right now, if you're wheelchair bound and oxygen tank reliant, we will find a way to get you there because this is your country too.
Mm-hmm.
Agreed.
Right. Well, thank you guys. It was definitely a good show, I think.
I think it was the start of a good show.
Yeah.
It was the start of a good show.
Yes.
Handful of them.
Thank you guys for your time and being on the show as always. Thanks everybody for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, share this video, share it to your friends and family. Who cares if your family thinks you're crazy? Share it anyway.
Don't forget, share it out. Tag
my
5
family
friends.
members has jumped on here tonight. They might think I'm
Tell
crazy
them to
by
tag
now.
5
Who
more
cares?
friends.
So, thank you guys, everybody. Everybody have a good night. We'll see you guys next Sunday. Again, happy late 4th, but have a good one.